All right, North Korea moving to the top of our foreign area, a little hot list, if you will. Right now, launching more missiles in the Yellow Sea today. This is a growing nuclear threat. We've got one of our submarines docked right near a South Korean military installation itself. That's got the North Koreans talking about a tit for tat that happens as a U.S. soldier is in their confines. General Jack Keane with the latest on all of this. General, so much to get into on just North Korea alone. What do we know about these latest missiles launched?
Yeah, well, they're cruise missiles. They launched them off the west coast between Korea and Japan. And you put your finger on it, Neil. I mean, the reason this provocation is going on and what happened on Wednesday with also short-range ballistic missiles, and then last week with intercontinental ballistic missile, which could reach the United States, it's all about the nuclear ballistic submarine that is parked at Busan in the southeastern part of South Korea. So we have not deployed a nuclear ballistic missile submarine in 40 years to South Korea. And why are we doing this? Well, because the North Koreans have a nuclear arsenal of estimated, Neil, from 40 to 60 weapons. And they also obviously have been developing ballistic missiles to fire those and deliver those weapons. And then they, with their language, they threaten the use of them. So what the United States is doing, and I think it makes prudent sense, is to demonstrate to the North Koreans and remind them that we are a nuclear power far superior to them. And this ballistic nuclear submarine is that reminder. We're not saying how long we're going to be there. And as likely as long as it's there, the North Koreans are going to be spun up by this and continue to threaten and also to fire off missiles. The second thing, and this is important also, because North Korea has been so belligerent and because they fired so many missiles, particularly in the last year, it's been remarkable how many they fired. Japan and South Korea have both toyed with the idea, well, should we develop our own nuclear capability so we can protect ourselves and not just rely on the United States nuclear umbrella to do that? Well, that certainly got the attention of our foreign policy national security folks. And that also was one of the reasons why that nuclear submarine is there, to make certain that South Korea and even Japan recognizes that the United States protection from against North Korea with our nuclear capability is real, sustained, and we're not going away.
You know, General, while I have you here, what do you make of this U.S. soldier ran into North Korea? We haven't heard, I haven't since, and I don't believe the North Koreans have commented one way or the other. What do you think they do with him? How do they leverage, use him, what?
Yeah, well, how unfortunate is this, Neil, that when tensions are so high, this soldier, likely under some distress, makes a decision to do this. You know, given the fact that he spent a couple of months in a South Korean jail for a criminal offense and the United States Army was sending him home and likely facing some kind of disciplinary action and the possibility of a less than honorable discharge for the military is what we normally do when somebody, you know, commits a felony. And I would suspect that is causing him a huge stress in terms of facing the reality of that. And his family and his friends. I don't know. I'm just speculating. And he may be running from that more than actually running to South Korea. He's trying to avoid, you know, facing the emotions of all of that. Now, listen, this is an American citizen, an American soldier, and we got to get him back regardless of what his motivations were. Let's just assume he was under a lot of stress and he's made a bad decision. That's not a factor here. This is an American citizen. Let's go get him. And the problem is we don't have relationships, Neil. We work through Sweden to do this. But the good news is we have had a lot of success through the years in getting American citizen detainees, regardless of what their motivation, out of North Korea. And assuming he wants to come out, the first thing to do is to make contact with him and find out how he's doing and what he wants to do.
That is very well said, General. You're the first one I've talked to on this who is just stepping back and saying, he's an American first, let's get him back. We can deal with all of this other stuff later. General, always good catching up with you. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.